one of the things that I often get the chance to speak about AI all around the world, it's universal in that it's pervasive. There's not an industry, there's not a vertical that's not being impacted by artificial intelligence. And I think one of the things that I often get asked about is the disruptive nature of it. And so one of the things we spend a good bit of time with our group and just talking with customers at events like this is how can we help you get on the right side of disruption? And that disruption comes in many, many form factors. And I think one of the things that, was highlighted earlier in Fabrice's conversation is data. And one of the things that we also try to really emphasize is we were foundational in building the cloud to the scale that you've seen today. And I think that's an important understanding where lessons were learned there. And if we can remember back, if you're as old as I am and have been doing this for as long as I have, private consumption of data is everything. And so if you remember early days of the cloud, we were consuming it over transit. So that's something that we always watch in the market is to say, listen, how can we as a collective industry start to talk about private consumption, not only of new data sets, but also a distinct set of different language models, large language models. And so all these pervasive models are distributed all around the world. Data sets are distributed around the world, different types of storage arrays, different type of GPU as service providers. All of that has to come together to, quite frankly, meet the demand that we're seeing in the market today. I think one of the biggest challenges, just speaking from Digital Realty's perspective, is what's happening within the four walls of the data center. And that's where, we've been looking at and working with our customers to overcome some of the challenges, not only in the 2.7 gigawatts of infrastructure we have deployed today, but also the 3+ gigawatts we're bringing online. And so we're looking at both frames. So how do you retrofit? How do you come into an environment and future-proof their deployment? We think about that often, and we actually have pre-procured a lot of infrastructure in our HD Colo program to allow our customers to get quick access to a technology called rear door heat exchangers or DLC, direct liquid to chip. And so that's something that we've been watching because there's a supply constraint issue around that because so many customers are evolving to bring in some critical infrastructure with our partners such as NVIDIA. And so that full technology stack that they've been bringing to market is represented by most of a majority of our customers are buying that technological stack. So how do we support that in an efficient fashion, not only from a retrofit, but then also from new builds? So these large arrays of multiple hundreds of gigawatts of capacity coming online over 10 years, how do we do that in a form factor where we have 100 megawatt blocks coming online in a lot of our critical markets? So that's something that we're always watching and just delivering that power, but then how do you cool it? And so that's where the designs that we've been looking at for some time now are modular. And that modularity not only happens in the electrical distribution, but also in the cooling. And so that cooling in those loops and being able to bring those loops in and being able to deliver that liquid to the rack on behalf of our customers is something that we're constantly watching. And so no two deployments are alike. Unfortunately, we're always pushing for standards in this industry. But I think that's something that we're always watching and how do we ideate with our customers to be able to support their needs. And I think one of the unique relationships or partnerships that we have in the industry today is with NVIDIA, which we'll get into a little bit more here. But not only are they servicing these large hyperscale arrays, which we often refer to as training, and we watch a lot of that training infrastructure, but they're also serving the enterprise. And I think that's where we're pretty excited about how the enterprises are starting to consume these DGX pods and how we can help customers land those in our environments, such as a phenomenal case study up in the Nordics with Novo Nordisk. It's one of the largest DGX pods in all of Europe. And so I'd invite you to go in and read about the technical expertise that we were able to pull together rather quickly to support that requirement. But you're going to see a lot of the dialogue coming out of the data center industry where these are AI factories. Right? It's no longer about cloud. It's about what are you able to do to action this data to make a valuable, informed decision off of that data. And so one of the things that we were pretty excited about is Jensen Huang was able to come up to the Nordics and be able to see that deployment. And he referenced that it's now an intelligence, it's a factory of intelligence because of the specific data and the pharmaceutical research that's being done there, that it's a whole nother step function in the value you're getting out of that infrastructure. So we're pretty excited about that. I think the other element that I would impress upon everybody is just the sheer demand. And so we're always watching how can we source the right type of power from the right type of delivery mechanism. And so we have over 1.5 GW of solar and wind procured today in our sustainability portfolio. But then we're also working with the utility operators in a longer term frame where we master plan markets multiple years out so they understand how we're going to be evolving within the community and to support the utility operators in a very balanced fashion. And I think we're pretty excited about some of the newer technologies that are coming to market. Happy to go into more detail after the session, but that's something that we're always looking at and how we can pull those things together. I think, our vision of the future is definitely pushing for more standards and really understanding how we can be modular and how we're able to bring this infrastructure to market to allow our customers to be successful. And so, one of the things that's pretty exciting about Digital Realty and operating all around the globe is a lot of customers are starting to understand they can design once and deploy many, and they can be very profitable in that rolling out across the globe. And so there's a balanced nature that we're always looking at there and working with key partners such as NVIDIA and others like Motivair, Schneider. It takes a conglomerate of infrastructure and technology providers to really bring these capabilities to market so that the customers can get the benefit out of that. And I think the last thing I'll emphasize is we're pretty excited, not just because of the power densities that Fabrice touched on, but because we're bringing a new form factor called liquid. It's 800 times denser than air. And so what we're pretty excited about that is you can get more efficient. So the efficiency factors of our data centers will be able to increase as well. And so less fans blowing air, more liquid being delivered directly to the heat source through these cold plates. That's something that we're pretty excited about, to find more efficiencies and be able to utilize kind of a term that we're firming up in the market a little bit called flops to watts. So the flops are the actual compute inside of the environment. And so how many watts you're delivering to that infrastructure, how many flops are you getting out of that? And that's really where we're watching a lot of our customers start to really hone in on that and make sure they have a nice balanced approach in how they bring that to market. But, we at Digital have been very excited and, been working with some of our partners such as NVIDIA for 8+ years now, just on their DGX pre-certification program, which I think we'll touch on here in a little bit. But finding that balance and how we can bring this infrastructure to market, quite frankly, for a lot of you in this room, not only in the deployments you have today, but also your future deployments. And so watching how AI is not only being disruptive, but also making sure that disruptive in nature is beneficial to you. And so that's where, we have different customers where some of them are far down the journey of AI, but then we have a lot of them that are pretty apprehensive where they're like, I get it, I have some data sets, but I don't know how to action that. And so we have a broad set of partners that we can bring in to sit down and define and design the right architecture for you. And so there's a group called our solution architects that I would invite you to reach out. Happy to schedule a session just to talk about, from our perspective, what is the best in class deployments we're seeing in the market today. So that's one of the things that drives me in this market and how we can execute collectively in a lot of this. But just excited to be here today. And with that, I think we're going to transition into our panel.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you so much for raising all those stakes. We see that there's a lot going on at different levels. So now I suggest that we dive maybe a little bit deeper in some topics. And now I'm going to go to my notes because it's getting quite technical and quite long sentences in English. So I'm sorry. Now we're going to talk about how the growing need for AI and HPC workloads is driving innovation among AI factory and data center operators, and how infrastructure optimization and advanced cooling solutions for next generation GPUs are improving efficiency and sustainability. A lot on the table. And for those topics, I'm also asking Andria Zou to join us on stage. Welcome, Andria.
Bonjour. Hey, that was the Louvre of data center. It was beautiful. I had the privilege of visiting the data center today. Thank you.
Great. And thank you so much for being here, because both of you come from the US. So we are very glad to have you tonight. Andria, maybe I just say who you are. So you're a Senior Director of Global AI Strategies and Solution at NVIDIA. So now we're all going to have a little talk together. I suggest maybe we take a seat.
Okay, sure.
So let's go to the topic directly. I have a first question, which is for both of you, actually, Andrea and Chris, because I would like to know how do your company's values but also vision align when it comes to advancing technology and data center infrastructure?
Okay.
You go first,
Chris
Andrea?
already gave you a preview on
Yeah.
our vision. So imagine the world is filled with AI factories, and the input into the AI factory is two things. One is data, right? You need data to output intelligence. And think of data, input data in different format. It could be audio, could be text, could be image, could be amino acids, it could be brain waves. And it goes through this called generative AI, large language model. And then the output is a generative text, 3D images, could be protein, could be a speech. So the world is full of potential now. That's why I didn't call this Wall Street call. It's the iPhone moment for AI. So it has arrived since November, about 2 years ago. So we're really excited about that. So data comes in and produce intelligence. But what to operate AI factories is the energy. And that's why my partnership, our partnership with Digital Realty, super important, because that's the data center, the co-location, along with the MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing equipments in the data center, which drives the backbone for AI global factory. So now imagine the input is data and energy, the output is intelligence in the form of AI tokens for the business. So that's our vision, which is, imagine all the AI factories for businesses humming and operational 24/7. In terms of the value that NVIDIA brings to the table, is that we believe that there's high return on investment across all industries. We see AI everywhere. For example, when you guys go on Teams, like this is what we do every day now, but Copilot just summarize it for you. It increases your productivity, right? It saves you half a day of typing your notes. Recently I have my own physical mammogram. And I went to my radiologist and she's like, hey, how about you pay $50 and have AI co-predict if you're going to have breast cancer or not? And obviously we're not going to replace jobs. I know people are really worried about AI replacing jobs, but this is to augment the doctors, the radiologists, to be really intelligent about what is the prediction, what's the trend. So it's actually improve our life better. So we believe the value is that AI will provide high return on investment for the businesses. I guarantee you a lot of CEOs, business leaders, they're actually thinking about AI because it has Wall Street impact to their businesses as well. Second, what we value is we, NVIDIA, believe in delivering AI software blueprints. We have delivered pre-trained models so that the customer could easily take what already built and adding their data, adding their own algorithms to make their business outcome becoming more important in the marketplace. Third is we value our ecosystem partner. We couldn't do this alone. Guys, building an AI factory is super complicated. Like Fabio said, traditional data center was 15 kilowatts. Now we're moving towards 150 kilowatts and beyond. And the density just will increase and the performance increasing. Back in 2016, the large language model was AlexNet, right? It hadn't even been invented. It was like few hundred petabytes. Now we're talking about 1.8 trillion parameters. Look at the compute density that is driving the AI industrial revolution. That's why we need the accelerated AI infrastructure like Digital Realty is providing. So these are things we, NVIDIA, value in terms of our partnership with Digital Realty. I know that's a long-winded answer, but Chris, please feel free.
I love it. No, it's great. And just starting where you kind of ended up, we're in the era of augmentation today. So it's augmenting your emails, taking notes, doing things like that. I think you'll see by the beginning of next year, there's going to be more agents. And we've heard a lot about what an agent really is going to be. The amount of infrastructure behind agents is really starting to increase. I think people overlook the fact that even like bimodal, which essentially means it's doing not just text, it's doing video, it's doing imagery, that amount of infrastructure required to do that just continually increases. And so that's something we're always watching collectively because we do a lot of co-design work. So it's not about the chipset today, the software today, the full technological stack. We're always watching that next iteration and ideation that we see coming not only for the hyperscale, but also the enterprise, because for us to understand that and design with one another's kind of outcome in mind is absolutely critical. And data is everything, right? And that's why we started with our data gravity, just to get people thinking about where their data is stored, how they can transact on that data. But then we always saw the fact that in the most simplistic sense, what AI is algorithms to data and getting an output out of that. And so finding that balance is something that we share a co-vision in, making sure that's done efficiently, effectively, and quite frankly, we try to, and I don't think, we try to meet the demand. And I think that's where the power element of this comes into play, where power is a constraining factor. And that's where, having been in the being in the industry for 20 years, myself being here 9 years, dealing in these larger capacity blocks, working with utility operators allows us for that very unique runway.
Andrea, does your doctor know that you work for NVIDIA?
No, I didn't want to tell them no, but it's just a way of business monetizing AI, right? Recently, my CEO also went to Japan and he just did a keynote yesterday. If you guys watch, he basically are doing AI RAM 5G. And he said for every dollar that, CapEx spend on 5G, the businesses are making $5. So I encourage you, if your business, think about how AI could augment your business and make it more profitable.
Yeah, what kind of opportunities do you see?
Well, I think Chris stole my thunder, but we believe digital human AI agent, it's about $125 billion of market. And NVIDIA has been working on this for many, many, many years. 3 key foundations. One, we have to have an ecosystem of partners that take our solution and bring innovation to the market. So I'll give you an example later, but that's the foundation, which is the ecosystem. Secondly, NVIDIA developed technologies like audio to face. When you talk to AI agent, you want to make sure there's facial structures and they're actually real time. So we have facial to audio agent that it's available. And then we also build on our large language model. We call NEMO. We train on internet on a very frequent basis where we gather data real time. And third is we have a rich heritage in graphics. So when you talk about the agents, their eyebrows will be moving. And in fact, we call our CEO has an avatar called Toy Jensen. And he has a little scar when he was growing up. He fell somewhere in the market, and they also depict that very vividly. So it's digital human coming to real life. And you feel like you're talking to a friend. I'll give you an example. During GTC this year, there was a patient out of surgery, and she was sitting on the sofa. She was really tired. She had an iPad in front of her, and the agent just, was talking to her, and she had a dog next to her to comfort her. She's like, feeling after surgery, what kind of medication should I be taking? So let's call the agent Sophia. Sophia right away in real time answers, say, hey, you should be taking penicillin, And, and then she's like, well, how about my allergies? What should I do? So your personal information is behind data center, like Digital Realty's data center. And it's very personalized for you because there's a HIPAA requirements. So that digital human type of use cases is very pervasive across enterprise, healthcare, automotives, life sciences, as I said, and financial services. So it's pervasive across multiple industries. And that's how we go to market together as well. Hey, Chris, maybe you should have AI agent in your data center as well.
Well, it's funny, like we actually do utilize a lot of algorithms to watch different types of water utilization, different filters. So it's definitely evolving and evolving rather quickly to find those efficiencies.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of startups starting that. Maybe we should talk. Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
just a word, because so many topics and so many sectors moving on quite rapidly, but maybe a word from you, Chris, on sustainability. How do you combine the two of them?
No, absolutely. And sustainability, it's not just around power, it's around water and just finding efficient ways to, support the environments that we operate in, even within the community. So one of the things we do is, as I alluded to, we do watch and we have a lot of filtration systems and we utilize water in certain markets where it's afforded to us, but just being good stewards of that water. So we've been able to save hundreds of thousands of gallons and just watching if there's a filter that needs changed or pumps don't run at full speed all the time. So variability. I think some of the other elements around just power utilization, just watching how we draw from the grid, making sure that certain fans, certain motors don't operate at full speed all the time and are attuned to the workload. Because I think that's where we're always excited is understanding what's on the other side of the data, and the data center being in the epicenter of that is everything to us. And that's why understanding the customer implications, where if it needs data sovereignty or any kind of GPDR kind of associated with it, we have the ability to distribute that and service those needs in a local market. But those ESG goals are balanced across every market we operate in. And it's, I won't lie, it's not easy, but it's something that we're getting better at. And I think with the heritage that we have between all of the amalgamation of engineering talent and just the talent that's represented within Digital Realty is definitely ahead of the curve.
If I may, I would like to just add a little bit on the AI perspective, how we balance performance and energy efficiency and sustainability. I'll give you an example. When we talk about AI factories, we're talking about generating intelligent tokens. So back in 2016, right? Let's imagine infrastructure in your data center. For the Pascal architecture, we're looking at generating one intelligent token to be 17,000 joules. I don't know what that means, but that means a lot. So today, in our latest Blackwell GB200, we announced this year, and generating one token is about 0.4 joules. Then you're like, okay, what's 0.4 joules per token? So imagine you're in a dark room in your bedroom and you put a nightlight there. That's how much energy has saved. Incredible performance now, but at a lot more efficient manner. So that's how we kind of see it. So. Anyways.
And I can see as well when you speak that you work well together. So maybe could you elaborate a little bit on that and how each other influences maybe your roadmap for NVIDIA, for Digital Realty?
Yeah, so I joined NVIDIA about 5.5 years ago. My day one was to, running this incredible data center ecosystem. Chris, I think we met 6 years ago, right there, right? And I have to say, Digital Realty is an elite NVIDIA data center provider. And that is hard to earn in NVIDIA. Elite just means very special. So Chris and I have been working together for 6 years. I would say, Chris, it's not always been rosy. I would say we had I think I still have some scars from some of the DGX test drive. We think we still have some equipment in your London data center. But anyways, we learn a lot together. We are better together in terms of go-to-market. I think we had an example where a partner was in US and then our market penetration was in EMEA, big no, right? So we've learned together. We feel 1 + 1 = 3. We're co-innovating together in terms of power, advanced solution, the modular design you talked about, a different form factor. Because look, building a data center is capital intensive, right? And you want to make sure that it's going to be relevant for the next 10, 20 years if possible. And we will continue to evolve. We can't help it because the advent of ChatGPT, we can't help it. Having transformer in our engine, now we're looking at trillions of parameters. We have to innovate, right? But we just want to make sure you guys are also prepared. So we share a roadmap together. We say, hey, here's a trend. How can we do this together for the customer? So you don't worry about it. It's frictionless for you. When we say, hey, we're ready for AI Factory, you say, hey, I just called the elite partner, Digital Realty. We take care of you. So it's just seamless.
I would echo the sentiment in that there were some rough patches, right? And it's not between us. It's just the technology either wasn't viable or the customer wasn't there, the use case wasn't there. And so we learned quickly to fail fast. And so I think, we didn't give up on anything. We continued to ideate together. And, some of the work that we've done, we have 30 plus certified, DGX certified data centers all around the globe. That's kind of the current formation of the program. And we continue to do that even within this market and with the data center we sell today, being able to support that current state of the generation. But we even go one step further in that, some of our most elite engineers sit in the room on a constant basis with NVIDIA, sharing like at a detailed level exactly, what patents or what technology we're going to bring to the facility to make sure it supports those needs. Because again, hopefully it's not missed on this room, and I was told it's a pretty technical room. A majority of our customers are buying the NVIDIA technological stack. They use it from all the way to the software, all the way down to the hardware, and even throughout the networking. And I think that's some of the stuff that we're very excited about, and understanding what they're doing with, some of their leading customers, such as Novo Nordisk, and what we're able to support up in the Nordics. But then also, where are we going to go with that? And so we're pretty excited about the going beyond the four walls of the data center, just being able to enable that in a broader kind of market, if you will.
Yeah, we NVIDIA go to market with our reference design. We eat our own dog food. Before we launch any product, we have to make sure, everything looks, past qualification, validation, many. I can't do this without my partner, Digital Realty, because it's hand in hand, and we have to, bring the solution, the entire AI factory to the market.
Before you cross the Atlantic the other way, maybe a few words on what you see coming, the trends that you see coming.
Okay, well, 2 years ago, ChatGPT arrived. So it's prompt engineering. You type in, the context and generating content. What the age of generative physical AI robot is coming. So no news to you. Tesla already announced their robotic program, and you're going to see a lot more of that type of capability coming. So we're super excited about that.
No, absolutely. I'd echo the sentiment that robotics is something we're very excited about. And if you ever get the chance, definitely see their headquarters, because they have an AI innovation lab. It's pretty mind-blowing. It's exciting times.
Yeah, sounds very exciting. Thank you so much for coming here
My
tonight.
pleasure, always. Thank you.
Thank you very much.